Next we move over to the characteristics of arrays. So, why do we need a data type, a structured data type like this in C? The first thing is all the elements of an array, they share the same name. So, using this you do not have, suppose you need around 10 or 20 values to be used in a program, you do not have to find out new names for each of those values. If as long as they are of the same data type, you can store them under the same variable name. They are distinguished from one another with the help of the element number. As I mentioned, the number which is present within the bracket is called the element number or the index or the position where the value is stored. So, each value in that particular name can be identified separately. When you give a of 1 or a of 2, it will identify only that particular value which is held at that location. And any particular element of an array can be modified without disturbing the other elements. So, that is another important feature. Though they are stored under the same name and they are stored in continuous separate memory locations, because the address of each value is different and you can easily identify it independently without disturbing the others, any change, updation or modification can be done easily on the elements of the array. You do not have to, it neither takes more time, neither does it involve more computation to identify an array variable. And any element of an array can be assigned to another ordinary variable or to another array of the same type. So, this is just another example of modification. You can identify individual elements, you can change their values, you can assign their values to some other variable, or you can take the values from some other variable and assign it to them. Any change you want, you can do it very easily and separately without disturbing the others. So, that is how we have given here as an example int b is equal to a of 2 and the other kinds. Next we have these array elements which are stored in continuous memory locations. So, this is one feature which we have already seen, their location is continuous and they are separate. So, accessing them is also faster. And the amount of storage required for holding elements of an array is computed by this formula. It depends upon the data type of the array and the number of variables it holds. So, the total bytes in terms of memory allocation is the size of the data type into its array size. So, if I say int a of 5, integer short int normally occupies 2 bytes. So, the size of the data type is 2 and the size is 5, array size is 5. So, 5 into 2, 10 bytes. So, this is the total amount of storage required for that array. This is how it is computed. Next we move over to predefined streams. So, what are these predefined streams in C? See, predefined streams nothing but already they have an established meaning, they have an established purpose. So, they are normally considered as file pointers in C. We all know what is a pointer, it is something that points to the value of a variable. So, if you say file pointers, they point to files which contain some valuable information for the execution of a program. This stdin, stdout and stdr are input, output and error files. So, all these are actually pointers which point to the file stdio.h. That is why we use this stdio.h header file in each C program, because this file contains all the definitions, meanings and all the other information necessary for the normal execution of a C program. Because in every C program we have the standard input from the keyboard, we need the standard display to the monitor, and if there is any error we want it to be done gracefully, we want that error to be indicated gracefully. So, for those reasons we need these predefined streams in the program. Their definitions are all present in the header file stdio.h. So, these three are simply pointers to that particular file. So, now we will see in detail what each of those files hold. This stdin identifies the standard input text, it is associated with the terminal, that is whatever input we give through the keyboard, that is identified as a standard input. So, that is whatever we type on the keyboard, it is visible on the screen. So, it is a standard input that is given by the user. Next you have the standard output, which is nothing but identifies the standard output text. Normally we see the output on the monitor, so it is associated with the system display. And then we have the standard error files, which is the output stream in the text mode. See, normally when there is an error in your program, you will not have any graphical representation, you just want the computer to tell you that you are having the error. So, that is done mostly in the text mode only, you do not spend a lot of time including graphics in that, and this is associated with the standard error stream. So, all these are file pointers which point to the stdio.h file. So, when that file is included in your program, all these definitions will be understood by the C compiler. So, when you give input from the keyboard, it accepts it. When you want the text to display the output on the screen, that also it accepts, and if there is any unknown error, that also is handled in a proper textual mode, indicating that such an error has occurred in your program. So, that is the main purpose of these predefined streams.